that was a big yawn. Hello, welcome to Sleepy Time Reddish Reaction. I am so tired. I've been organizing my cupboard all day. I am so tired. I just want to sleep. But we are here and we are gonna get into some retail stories. So by the looks of it, I've always worked we've got our next five Reddit retail stories up and ready to go. So, yeah, we'll be looking into the first retail story. Let me just adjust this just a little bit. There we go. That is so much better. Don't you think that this is so much better? Yeah, there we go. Okay, so this is a medium read and it goes, but I've always worked in a store before. Okay. Hmm. Okay. Sorry, I had to take a deep couple of breaths there because I was about to yawn again, and here it comes. Sleepy bear. Sleepy, sleepy, sleepy bear. Okay. I remember this one well. It happened the day after the thief who got cold feet story. Oh, I think I remember reading that. Do you guys remember that story? It was one day before our National Day, and I was at work at the grocery store, and this was some years ago. I was working late closing shift, 4 p.m. to 11 p.m. The store closes at 11 p.m. Around 10:50, a lady with a typical Karen haircut and purple hair color walks into the store and grabs a shopping cart and walks into the opposite end of the store with the meat, fridges and freezers. I start the closing routines and don't think anything of it. Okay. The time is the time hits 11. I finished my routine and the lady is still shopping there in the same exact spot. I go to her to tell her the store is closed, but before I get a single word in, she says, I know the store is closed. I know you want to go home. I've worked in a store before, you know. I kind of just responded with, you look, listen, I've worked in a store before. You always let the customer finish shopping. And then she started rambling incomprehensibly. The time hits 11:05. She finally starts moving, but was swerving between the freezers, not grabbing anything. On the way to the cash register, she suddenly takes a sharp right turn to look at something. The entire time she's rambling to me about something. I was spacing out and just following her to make sure she leaves. Finally, at 11:12, she makes it to the register and my colleague scans her items. Then she realizes she forgot something and is about to grab it. But before she does, I say, I'll go grab it for you, which I did. I return with the item and my colleague scans it through. Then she asks about cigarettes. The store uses an electronic safe that you pay for a ticket, you scan, and then the item drops like a vending machine. Okay. While tapping the screen in front of the register, my colleague explains that whatever cigarettes she wanted, we were out of. She scoffs and proceeds to look for her wallet in her purse. My nose is itchy, 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 itchy nose, itchy nose, itchy, itchy nose. Yee. Ha! After rummaging for what felt like forever, she finds the wallet, pays, and packs her stuff in a bag and heads for the exit. I follow her to I follow her to lock the door. She notices some National Day flower bouquets by the exit and is about to stop to look at them when she probably noticed me rolling my eyes and she left. The time was now 11:23 and my colleague still needed to finish counting the till. The entire time from when I first walked up to the lady and until she left, she was rambling about stores and how she worked in one. I know how it is and stuff. Lady, if you know, then please leave so I can go home. Exactly. Okay, so this is my take on the story. Like, I understand what she's saying and stuff like that. Honestly, I would have been like, ma'am, we already closed our tills. We won't be able to help you. You can come back tomorrow. That's it. Like, that's how I would have dealt with this situation. I don't know. What would you guys think? How would you guys deal with the situation? Would you guys have entertained this customer, or would you have just been like, ma'am, all our tills is closed. We cannot, take your purchase or anything. You can come back tomorrow to buy stuff. Like, how would you guys deal with this situation? Like, right now, the way I'm feeling right now, I am too tired to deal with it. I would have just told her, even if the tills were not closed, I would have told her the tills are closed. We cannot accept any more purchases. We did this a couple of times at the bookstore that I was working at. So, like, we could see if they came in and they were just browsing and stuff like that, we would close the tills and then they would like, because we knew if they were gonna buy something and we knew if they weren't gonna buy anything. But oftentimes we would close the tills and then somebody would come in and just be like, "Oh, I just want to buy this." Da, 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 da. And I'm just like, "Ma'am, sorry, the tills are closed. We can't accept your purchase." So yeah, that's how we normally dealt with it. But yeah, how would you guys have dealt with this situation? Would you have dealt with it any differently? Let me know. I would give this like a 1 out of 5 because it wasn't that bad. It's just more of an annoyance, so I might give it a 2 out of 5 because of the annoyance of it and the arrogance behind this customer. So yeah, just if you worked in retail and you understand how it is, it doesn't matter how many years ago you worked in retail. It doesn't matter if it was yesterday or 10 years ago. But if you worked in retail and you know how shitty it can be to work in retail, why would you want to put people through that? Just because you went through it? Like, no, it doesn't make. No, stop it. It's kind of the same energy that my mom gives when we. I hate going to a coffee shop or a restaurant or anywhere with my mom because my mom used to be a waiter or waitress. Yeah, my mom used to be a waitress and she used to tend bars and stuff like that. And she's like, I worked in the soup in service industry before. This is not how it is. They're taking too long. Da 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 da. She would always make a big fuss, and then when somebody does an excellent job, she's like, I just want to tell you what an excellent work you do and how grateful you are. Da, da, da. There was there's nothing wrong with that. It's just the way that my mom does it. It just like it's kind of it comes off as condescending and self-entitled, and it's like for you as a family member, it's embarrassing, or a friend, it's embarrassing, and just like, yeah, no, it's kind of cringe. It really is cringy, and I don't like it. I don't know. Let me know what you think, and yeah, wait. Oh, okay, good. I've turned the right mic off. Oh, oh, God. I nearly thought I put my mic off instead of my desktop audio. I was like, no. That's why we have to re-record this. I am so tired. Oh, okay, guys. I swear that's my bear grumble from now on. Oh, I'm so tired. Okay, next one we got cops in malls not actually bad at their jobs. Uh, Mall cops are bad at their jobs, and what? Okay, I'm so confused. I need to read this. Ooh. So I used to be a manager for a fairly large CD DVD store back in 2010. Also, that was right. Next to an anchor store. For those who do not work in malls, the anchor stores are the very large stores at the ends and sometimes the middle of malls. Think Racy's, Mordstorm, Stalk, sometimes Bargain, etc. Our store took up the same amount of space of about three or four small stores in the mall and had an entirely glass front, minus two large open doors that had the slide down gates for closing. The last the glass front gave us a perfect view of what was going on in the mall when it was slow as it was on this particular Sunday evening. About 30 minutes before close time, I generally set myself up at the front of the store, sorting new production on a cart, looking outward into the mall, so I could get so I could greet anyone who came inside. My employees were finishing up closing duties so we could close registers and get out the door as fast as possible. Okay, let me just scroll down. There we go. Now, this particular mall had the usual security guards who tended to be the guys who fell into two categories. A, the young guys who really wanted to be cops but probably failed due to psych evaluations and were a little bit too excited to catch shoplifters. And B, the older guys who probably used to be cops and just wanted everything to be safe for everyone. And on weekends, we had a few cops that patrolled the mall. As employees, we did occasionally need to call security and had good relationships with the security teams, as well as the loss prevention team at the anchor store right next to us, which I shall call Dulk. We also used to think that the cops that pulled mall patrol detail were probably bad at their jobs. How silly we were. As I was sorting CDs and hoping for a fast exit that night, all of a sudden I saw a woman with a stroller racing out of Dalk just as fast as she could go. Quickly in pursuit was one of the cops and Bob, one of our favorite RP guys from Dalk team. Before I could even yell back for my employees to see the show, the following occurred. The cop made a flying tackle on the woman, landed on her back, oof, and slid with her almost 10 feet across the nicely waxed tiles. Ouch. I can just imagine how much that would have hurt. While the stroller went flying and had both hands behind her back and handcuffed before the two of them slid to a stop. The stroller, before you worry, crashed and spilled its contents, not of a baby, but of probably a few $1,000s worth of prom dresses and jewelry. Ooh. Also sliding out all over the nicely waxed tiles. Bob skidded to a stop by the stroller and began collecting the items and apparently sorting through the items to determine which ones were owned by Dalk and which ones were the property of other stores she had been stealing from so they could be returned. And one of the young mall security guards strolled up from the other direction, saluted me, and said, "It's okay, we've got it taken care of." Okay, see, I don't like the lady who, or the person who wrote this article, because you have this assumption that all mall cops are bad at their jobs. They're not bad at their jobs. That like the majority of mall cops that you see are actually very good at their jobs, and they're actually quite aware of what's going on around them. I mean, I'm pretty sure they can spot a shoplifter from a mile away, no matter how good you are at shoplifting. So I don't like the way this article was written. I know these are stories from retail and stuff like that. And like I would have just left the situation to the mall cops and I would have most probably thanked them for, their diligence and their hard work and, being able to catch these people. But to assume that mall cops are bad at their jobs and to have this assumption about them is like, oh, they're like, what's the point of them being here? They're bad at their jobs. I think that's a horrible assumption to have of the people that are paid to protect you. That's a horrible assumption to make. Look, I'm not saying when it comes to, because you do get corrupt police officers out there and stuff like that, but that's not the majority of them. So that's what I'm saying. To assume that, like, especially private security companies and stuff like that, when you just assume these things, obviously they're gonna sense this, they're gonna see this, and it's gonna make them want to protect you even less because you have this negative outlook on them. Like, I don't like the lady who has this assumptions about these people because you're giving them a bad name when you don't know what their job's like, when you haven't even been there. You just see them around the mall thinking they're just doing nothing. They're just walking around doing nothing. Like, I don't like this one. I don't like this one. I just don't like the assumption and the prejudice she has against this one. So actually, I think this is the first time I'm actually downvoting a story. Like, this is a downvotes because just because of the assumption she has. Like, I don't like it. I don't like this assumption that she has. This is like the first time I've ever downvoted a story ever. I don't know. What do you guys think? Is there something there? Am I missing? Am I being a bit too harsh? Let me know your thoughts and opinions on this one. I'm not really going to rate this one because this one doesn't really have a rating. There's nothing like I can actually say I would have done in this situation or how I would have handled this situation. There's nothing I can actually do about this. But yeah. Okay. Oh, I really do need some water. I should have brought water with me before I started recording. Oh, I'm so scattered brain. Okay, anyway, moving on. Which policy do you want us to follow? Oh, this one's going to be interesting. This one is from many years ago, but I was recently reminded of it. Apologies in advance for not having the exact dialogue. Forgiven. We can't always remember the exact dialogue we have with customers. I used to work at a drugstore back before they were open 24/7, before scraping that post plague. We would typically make announcements at quarter to 10 and 10 to 10 and 5 to 10, advising customers that we would soon be closing and to make their final selections. And then another at 10 p.m. stating that we were closed and to bring their purchases to the register for checkout. I tended to be the one to make these announcements. I tended to be the one to make those announcements when I was there because nobody else could be asked. Okay. So one night I did the quarter to 10 announcements, and then the district manager there on a late visit on his way home stormed up to the front register. I was in photo at the time, and the cashier ratted me out as the offending announcer, leading the DM to come up to my register like a thundercloud. What do you think you're doing? He demanded. I, at the time, had no idea what he was talking about, closing down photo. He didn't like that answer. This announcement, why are you trying to rush paying customers out of the door? One good thing about working photo, it doubled as customer service and the complaint department. Years of dealing with angry customers and Karens, even if they weren't called that back then, had taught me how to deflect blame or how to make crap fall uphill, if you will. Because that's what I was told to do. I said, by who? He demanded. The store manager. He stomped off for the office door about 10 feet away, and on his way back there, he said, don't even think about making another announcement like that. The wall between Fota and the office was thin enough that I could hear the DM yelling, and I recognized my boss's name, so I'm guessing he called the boss to yell at him. The next day, the store manager made sure the assistant managers and lowly peons knew to never make announcements like that again, nor to advise customers that we were closing or had already closed if it was after 10. I worked that night, didn't make the announcements, and then had the next 2 days off. That is bull. I'm sorry, but if a store closes at a certain time, you cannot expect to work overtime just because a customer can't make up their mind and decide to stay there for 2 hours and then you get home at midnight. I don't agree with this. Like, if the store says, okay, listen, if the store policy says you're closing this time and you need to make these announcements, then that's what you do. You cannot fight with the people that's working for you about for doing their jobs. I'm sorry, but the district manager in this case is full of bull shark. I'm sorry, but he is. I'm trying not to swear, okay? But he is full of crap. I mean, you don't do that. I'm sorry. If I own a store one day and I say, listen, my store closes at this time, and on these days my stores are closed because I actually want to get back, and I do believe that you'll be fine if you do this. I want to like work like accordingly if I ever do open up my own store, because that's an eventual goal one day. But if I stay online, if I still work with my online store, and that's fine, I'll be happy with that. But this is how I see it. Like, okay, you work from 8 to 5 or whatever time, like 8 to 5, 8 to 6, whatever, during the week, Monday to Friday. Okay. Then Saturdays, mm, yeah, because church is normally on Sunday. So Saturdays you work from 8 to 12 or 8 to 1 or whatever the case may be. So you work half day and the rest of the Saturday you have off. So then the people that work for you, they got enough time to relax at home, spend time with their family and whatnot. Okay, because it is a retail store, you need to be open for longer hours than if you will work an office job. But that's how I eventually want to be. Or I would open up the store later in the afternoon so that people can actually come and do their shopping after work. But either way, either however I decide to do it, if I tell my employees or people who end up working for me and just be like, hey, listen, we close at this time. So you can make an announcement like 3 times, okay? You're gonna make an announcement at 1/2 past, then you're gonna make an announcement at 1/4 to, and then you're gonna make announcements at 5 to. Okay, to let them know, listen, they need to. Then you're gonna make an announcement saying, listen, shops are closed. The shop is closed. Um, those of you who are still in the shop, please, like, you need to come to the till. Then they have so much time to come to the till, like 5 minutes or 10 minutes to get to the till, to make their purchases and leave. After that, the tills are going to be closed and we will not accept your purchases. I'm sorry, but you got to have boundaries. Otherwise, customers are going to roll all over you. And the fact that you want customers to roll over the people that work for you, and then they have no say, they have no uh, agency, and they have to accept the abuse, like, well, not just abuse, they have to accept the fact that customers are allowed to use them and abuse them however they want, and they can't set boundaries in place because they're going to get into trouble with the district manager. No, man, futsak, go away with that nonsense. District managers, if any of you watch my YouTube channels, whether I'm small now or in the future, get over yourself. Your duty is not to your customers, your duty is to the people who work for you. And if customers are mistreating the people who are working for you, it is not your duty to take the side of your customer and say, hey, listen, you can treat our people however you want. No, your duty is to protect the people who work for you against customers who mistreat the people who work for you. Ah, it makes me so mad. Okay, I'm fine. Okay, clearly this is a very touchy subject for me, so I'm already rating this like a 4 out of 5 situation. Oh no. Okay, the policy had been rescinded by the time I got back. The regional manager, why? Because he really, really doesn't like paying overtime. The rest of this was told to me after the fact by one of the other photo guys. Turns out on my first day off, a customer came in 5 to 10 or so, and in accordance with the district's manager's orders, nobody told her about what time we closed. She didn't leave until 2 a.m. And from what I remember being told, didn't even wind up buying anything. The following afternoon, the DM came in for a meeting with the store manager to yell about the previous night's overtime, to which my boss reportedly said, "Which policy do you want us to follow?" Exactly. The two of them were in a shouting match in the office when the regional manager showed up, and once he heard about the no closing announcement policy the district manager had implemented, he rescinded it on the spot and yelled at length at the district manager. Yes, justification. Apparently, the only words the guy running photo at the time could make out from the district manager were "yes, sir," "no, sir," and "I understand, sir." And he beat a hasty retreat from the store as soon as the regional manager was finished chewing him out. I typically dreaded visits from the regional manager because he tended to be a stuck up narcissist, but I genuinely regret having missed that one. Oh my word. Okay, I'm changing this from a 4 out of 5 to a 2 out of 5 because chef's kiss to the regional manager. Mwah, we love you. We love you. I would have not changed anything about the story. This is great. This is great. Oh my word, I am loving this. Oh, okay. Now I'm excited for the next two story. Yay. Yay. I'm excited. I'm excited. I'm excited. I'm excited. Okay. A very kind customer. Ooh, diligence, Elk. To break up my streak of slightly negative stories, here's a short and sweet one, okay? I was at work in the sports equipment store from my first post, a store that sells sports supplements, outdoor hunting, skiing, and biking stuff. I was manning the cashier as usual, and it was about 3 out of 5 hours into my shift. An English speaking guy comes and asks for my help in solving a confusing mess of. Oh, sorry, guys, I had a little bit of a hiccup there. Mess of price posters on protein powders to get the cheapest option. Okay. I help him find it, and he proceeds to say, "Thank you so much. I'm gonna buy you a chocolate." Oh, that's so sweet. I pause for a moment, look at him, and say, "Do you mean it?" He says, "Yeah, what chocolate do you like?" "Milk chocolate." I respond, "Oh." And he leaves the store. I didn't expect him to actually do it, but about 7 minutes later, he comes back and hands me a large size milk chocolate bar and a Coca Cola before shaking my hand and saying, "Here, you have a chocolate, Coke, and a new friend." And then he left again. For reference, the cost of these two items is almost the amount he saved on the protein powder. This gesture made my whole day better, and the Coke was the energy boost I needed for the rest of the day. Thank you, kind stranger. Oh, the story. This is a 1 out of 5. The story is so sweet. Oh, this is so adorable. I love it. You see, it's customers like this that, like, changes everything. Oh, I love it. It kind of reminds me of what happened with me yesterday when I was at a shop. Okay, I was looking forward to going to the shops. I was looking forward because what I'm doing right now, I'm updating my wardrobe. So if you're not on my Twitch streams and you don't watch my Twitch streams, I'm gonna repeat it here again. So I'm updating my wardrobe. I'm changing my look and stuff like that because I'm tired of just being casual all the time. I want to look more feminine. I want to look more ladylike instead of wearing shirts and jeans most of the time and stuff like that. And it's been a change that's like I've been craving for, or I felt like I've been needing for the last year or so. And yesterday I was able to, actually start making some changes, which I am so excited for. And that's why I sorted out my cupboard today to see what clothes I'm getting rid of, what clothes I'm keeping, and stuff like that. So, yeah, but that's besides the point. So when I went to the shops, I needed. Okay, if you're a woman, you will understand. If you are a man and you want to skip this part, please do. But yeah, so I was struggling to, because I've lost weight. I've actually lost weight, so my bras don't fit me anymore. And every clothing store that I went to, they didn't measure me properly, and the sizes that they gave me were not fitting. So now I went to they had it like they have a bras and things store there, I think it's called, where um they just sell bras and pajamas and stuff like that. So they don't really sell clothes there. And I went in there and I was on the verge of tears. I was so irritated. I was so annoyed. And I said, listen, I've been to every store. They measured me wrong. Nothing fits me. Can you please help me? Like, I was on the verge of tears. And this lady, she, bless her heart, like, I'm still so happy about this. She goes and she's like, "Here, try this on." I tried on, fits like a glove, and I was so happy. I ended up buying 4 bras from them. And I also was like, "Can I please hug you?" And she said yes, and I hugged her. I'm like, "Thank you so much. You don't understand. I've been struggling for so long." And she's like, "Don't worry, I completely understand. Like, if you can't find the right size, it does get to you. You do get irritated. You do get annoyed." So yeah, I kind of had this similar thing with this. Now, even though she was working in retail, but from a customer standpoint, I completely understand this customer because I just experienced this yesterday, and I wish I thought about buying her a chocolate. But when I go to that mall again, that shopping mall again to fetch my outfits, which I had to order online because the store didn't have my size. So I had to go and order my size online. So when I go fetch my outfits, I'll go like get her some like maybe a chocolate or something just to say thank you because I didn't think of it at the time. And yeah, so I think that will be a nice little surprise or an ice cream or whatever if it's like a really hot day or whatever. But yeah, this is so sweet. And it just, I think the reason why I'm flustered with the stories is because it reminded me of my experience from yesterday. So yeah, I love it when things like this happen. It really touches your heart and it really uplifts your spirits and it gives you confidence and it gives you this encouragement and it does something. It's like soul food, okay? It's just does something for your soul. But yeah, let me know what you guys think of the story, how you guys like the story, and how you would rate the story. I'll rate this a 1 out of 5 because nothing bad happens in the story, and it's so sweet, it's so heartwarming, it's so touching, and it's soul food. So wait! I got the perfect rating for the story. It's a soul food out of 5. Okay, last story for this reaction. Why are you like this, sir? Ooh, this one seems to be interesting. One completely normal day at work on an evening shift, I was manning the cashier as usual, this being in the sports equipment store in mall. As I am on my way to the register after doing something else, my colleague comes up to me and tells me something hilarious. He had walked into the storage room and found a random man standing there with a receipt in his hand, looking a bit confused. Oh no. What this man had done. He had gone to the mall's basement parking garage after buying something and wanted to collect his item from pickup. There are doors used for that in the parking garage related to each store. He must have missed the gigantic logo on the door that reads Insert Store Name here. This door is locked, as it is also our staff entrance from the parking garage. He pressed the emergency open button next to the door, which is only to be used in case of fire, as there is an emergency exit past this and another door. Then he entered and took our goods elevator to the third floor from the basement. Oh no! Oh no! And that is where my colleague found him. The real kicker, the receipt was from a different store entirely. The emergency button kept beeping, and so customers went to tell a completely unrelated store about this, which led one of the store's workers to come tell us about it. The aftermath is that the elevator now requires a key card to operate. Oh no, guys, this is also a very sweet story. Oh my word. Why can I imagine somebody in my life doing this? Why can I imagine this actually happening with one of my friends? Oh, I can see one of my friends doing this. Oh no. Okay, this is a funny story. I will rate this like, okay, I will say 3 out of 5 because he did press the panic button and it did cause like an emergency, but he must have been so lost. He must have been so panicked. And like they said, he was confused. So obviously this customer did not do this on purpose. But I hope they were understanding. I hope they did give him the help. In this situation, I would have been like, okay, so what store are you looking for? And if he said this store, I'm like, let me escort you to that store. And I would have taken him to that store. I would have said, hey, listen, he kind of got lost and he ended up in our store. But he's got this receipt to collect his items. And then I would have stayed to make sure that he got the help that he needed while my manager sorted out the whole emergency situation and just be like with um with the store and stuff like that. So yeah, but the store's main office sorted out the whole emergency situation, saying, listen, the customer just got lost, accidentally pressed the emergency button instead of the store that he was looking for. So yeah, no, definitely that's how I would have handled the story. But again, I would rate this a 3 out of 5 because just because of the fact an emergency button was pressed, not for any other reason, just because an emergency button was pressed. If the emergency button was not pressed and this customer just got lost, this would have been a 2 out of 5 because, like, again, this is so sweet. This is heartwarming, and also I feel sorry for the customer. I'm like, no, poor customer. But yeah, with that being said, guys, I need to show you something. I need to show you something. Just hold on. No. Okay, wait. Just give me a sec. Just give me a sec. Boom. Okay, there we go. Mm. Merch drop. Okay, that was a bit loud. I am sorry. Guys, yes, I do have a merch store. You can get Born Under the Rock throw blankets where it has my first couple of panels of a online webtoon series that I am working on. Still have to start with chapter 1. It's just been a hectic month this far with like break-ins and sorting out bank cards and sorting out phones and SIM swaps, and it's just been hectic. I didn't really have much time to get into chapter 1. But yeah, we got Born Under Rock throw blankets. We've got some books. We got another type of blanket. We got water bottles. We've got travel mugs. Guys, we even got clothes. We got shoes. We got hoodies. We got AirPod cases. We got buttons. We got quite a lot of stuff here. So if you guys want to go check it out and see, if you guys go to the drop, you'll see all products: Boot Brass, Born Under Rock, Jewels in Minecraft. Jewels in Minecraft will give you more or less of an idea of everything that I do sell if you guys want to see everything that I sell. So yeah, you guys can go check it out. See, you got hoodies, you got crop tops, you got sweatpants, sweatshirts, we got even for children, babies. So yeah, mouse pads, coasters, bags. So yeah, go go check it out and get your Jules merch. And yeah, with that being said, until next week, I shall see you then. Bye.